Hattie and I am back with another speed build. So today we're going to build a modern home, which is quite unusual for me because I don't often build these styles of houses, but I thought I'm going to try something new. I'm going to try something different to what I usually do, so that is what I decided for today. So this house is going to be called Mollie's Modern Home. The reason is because Mollie, I'm not telling, is one of my supporters. She wanted a house named after her, so this is a house named after her. So I really hope that you like it. And if you want a house named after you, one of your friends or family members, then just let me know on this video because I'll be picking my next name really soon. But this house actually started off being a suburban house and a more traditional home. I was really stuck on what to build. I had about an hour, maybe an hour and a half free. It was really late at night and I decided that I would build a suburban house. But it didn't turn out that way. In fact, it was when I started changing the windows for the build that I thought to myself, I'm going to make it really modern because modern houses are one of the most suggested things on my channel at the moment, and I thought it would be pretty nice. A lot of people seem to be requesting it and I thought it's just a bit of a change, so I thought I'd go for that in the end. But the actual shape of the house is not too dissimilar to some of my other builds, which are suburban houses, but I thought that this shape, the roof, everything still looked nice, so I thought that I'd keep it and try and mix the two styles. So it's not really a futuristic modern house, it's more of a family modern home, which would be for probably about 5 Sims, I think. Maybe about 5 or 6 would fit in this house. I'm not too sure though. Maybe more than that, maybe less. I don't know. We'll find out when it comes to doing the interior. But this house is already on the Sims 4 gallery if you want to go and download it. The reason is because I am currently pre-recording a lot of my videos because I'm going away on holiday. I wouldn't call it a holiday though, I'm actually going away to wedding plan. I've got to go and plan my wedding. So I'm going to be away for a couple of days and a lot of my videos that will be coming up, I think maybe this week, are all going to be pre-recorded. So if the audio sounds a little bit tiring, like I've been recording for a very long time, that is exactly what I've been doing. I've been staying up so late to try and get out 2 or 3 videos a day so that I can stack them up basically for when I go away. But anyway, so this house at the moment, I was doing the brickwork at the front. I thought that that brick looked really nice, and even though I didn't use it, I want to come back to it at some point because I want to do a home really just in that brick. I love it. I love everything about it, and it reminds me of an English house, really. It does. In fact, the house that I used to live in as a child, maybe the first house that I can ever remember. So it's a really long time ago because I must have been about 4 when I lived there. But the house that I used to live in had paneling just like that on the top of it, and it was a really beautiful house. It seemed really big to me though. The houses always seem bigger when you're younger and when you're smaller as well. But I do have some really happy memories in that house, so I will try and recreate something with that brick at some point. But I was just finishing off putting the rest of the wood around the sides. I really love that wood. I think it looks really nice. It's from the Spooky Stuff pack, but that wood looks fantastic. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's one of my favourite textures. I love it. But then what I was doing is I was deciding what door to go with at the front. And when I put that door there and then the window above the door, that's really when I realised that is the best combination that I could have chosen, I think, for this build. I think it goes really well, and I think the windows go well as well with the build. Something that I really do like about the windows is the fact that they look like they've got blinds on the outside, which is unusual. I've been trying to figure this out because when I used to live in England, all the blinds, or at least all the blinds that I ever saw, were on the inside of a building, because the houses that I used to live in, my friends' houses, my family's houses, like when I used to go and visit them, they always had their blinds on the inside. But now I live in Germany, I mean, the blinds over here are always on the outside, so it really did puzzle me for a second. I was trying to think, which is the right way to have blinds? I guess there is no right way, but I think that everybody does it differently. I use quite a lot of those windows though, mainly because they were my favourite ones to use, so you will notice them a lot. But I was checking the gallery photo quite a lot through that part, so I'm a bit sorry if there's lots and lots of gallery photos popping up there. I didn't mean for that to happen. What I was doing though is I was adjusting the roofing and making sure that I was really happy with it before I continued. Sometimes I like to take a little break, get myself a drink. I drink coffee mostly, or tea. I only drink English tea though because I've never really got into flavours of teas. My mum always drinks licorice, which I can't stand. I tried once, but I hated it, so I don't drink that. But maybe just during parts of this part, maybe I was sipping on a cup of tea. So if it's a little bit slower, that is the reason. Because I build so quickly, it's a little bit more noticeable when I do slow down. But at this point, I think I was building with one hand. That was how serious I was going. But we're back to the front, and this is when I was trying to make sure that I had the right colours there. I was really considering changing the colour of the door. I thought that I wanted to go for a red door, but then I thought, no, I don't want to go for a red door. I quite like the brown, even though it does look a little bit plain, but I wasn't sure if everybody would be a big fan of red doors. But please let me know in the comments, what is your opinion of red doors? I mean, should I do a build with a red door? I don't know. I've always felt strange about it because I feel like it's really out of the ordinary, and I don't know if many people would like it, so I guess that's why I didn't do it. What I was doing at this point is I was putting some landscaping around. I went with my old style of landscaping because when the stuff pack, the romantic garden stuff pack came out, I'd already built this house. So when I actually built this house, oh my gosh, I've got to work out the maths now. So when you're watching this video, it's probably about 2 weeks ago since I built this house. Crazy, isn't it? But yeah, so that sometimes happens. But I thought to myself, maybe it's a good idea if I start building something like this. And sometimes I do stack creations up and I don't share them for a little bit, because if I've got something that I want to share before that creation, then I will, and I will try to do it that way. What I was doing is I was using the modern plants, the plant pots. I absolutely adore them. I think they look amazing and I think they look really good. I did change the door colour at this point, but I just wasn't sure on it. I don't know if the red even looked that good. It was more of a reddy orange, which isn't really a red. It's a bit of a cop-out of a red, so maybe it's not that special after all. But what I was doing is I was putting around some hedges. I love those hedges. Oh my gosh, I can't get enough of those hedges. I absolutely love them in all my builds. So even though this is a modern house, I thought that this still looked really nice with hedges. I thought that it still really stood out, and I was happy with putting them in because I think that hedges look good anywhere and I like it. I like the fact that it looks like it's been lived in, and it looks like it's been a little bit overgrown, but not too much. In fact, I have seen houses, modern houses, that are a little bit similar to this. I mean, not too similar, maybe not that much landscaping, but especially if the family were avid gardeners and they love their plants and stuff, then maybe that's the first thing they'd do. If they moved into a build like this, they would just start planting like crazy, and that would be what they'd like to do in their free time. I don't know. But here I was just planning out the garden. I thought about doing a bit of a jigsaw pattern, which I really liked. It was a bit unusual for me to do that because I've never done anything like that before. But I thought with the grass, I would do something a little bit strange in the garden and something a bit unlike me. So even though it's still covered in plants and stuff, I thought I'd do something a little bit unusual. So this was my attempt at doing something unusual and mixing it up a bit. I thought about a really oddly shaped pool, but I didn't like the idea when I started to put it in because I thought it just looked too odd. And also I couldn't put the pool wherever I wanted it to be. So what would happen is I would put the pool terrain down and then I would realise, oh no, it's got to be on the line properly and I've got to line it up, and it's just too much hassle. And I thought that it looked a lot better just doing this with it and putting some rocks there because I like rocks. I like the rocks in here and I think that I could do some fun things with it. So what I did here is I put in a children's climbing frame, which is the really, really expensive one. So it's going to cost a lot of money for your family to have that one because it's pretty expensive. I think it's the most expensive one, and I thought that it would be nice because I don't think I've ever used it before in one of my builds, and I thought that it looked really nice in this garden, especially with it being a modern house. I think that it really fitted in with this build. So at this point, what I was doing is I was trying to figure out what I'd do with this patch of land because I didn't want the pool area being too big. I just wanted it to be a really small pool and really just a feature of the garden more than just a usable pool, which would be fully functional. I just wasn't sure about it, so I thought it'd be quite nice if I put a seating area here. And I liked it. So I put some palm trees and things, which isn't actually that unusual for Willow Creek because I was looking around the surroundings and there were a lot of palm trees about. So I think that the small plants in between the rocks go really nicely with this area. I was also putting in some activity items that the family could potentially use. That is what the interior is mainly going to be focused on as well. It's going to be focused on items which are usable and a little bit futuristic, I guess. So the complete opposite items in which I have used up till now, I think, probably. So we'll see how that turns out, but I'm looking forward to it. But this was when I was putting the last plants around the garden. I was just finishing off the pool area. I was enlarging a lot of plants by this point as well, because that's really important to me that I can do that, and I really think that it gives an amazing effect to the garden, and it just makes it look a little bit more landscaped, and also it doesn't even cost that much extra, so it's a money saving thing that you can do if you want to do that. I was just putting some trees around, and I was just doing some general changes, but that is the end of the build. So I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all for part 2. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.